Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of May 27th, leading us into the first days of June. And boy, this week we have a lot of changes that we are integrating into our energies. It's a very personal week as we have a lot of interplay with the personal planets, Mercury, Venus, a little Mars, but it is definitely a Mercury kind of week. And I will be explaining that. And we have new energy, fresh energy, because the big planet of Saturn has moved into a new sign out of Pisces and into Aries. And this can be felt far and wide. Saturn is moving through a sign generally in about 2 to 2.5 years. So we have had the Pisces energy around Saturn for a while. When a planet is transiting a sign, it kind of becomes under the influence of that. And Saturn is the planet of our responsibilities and of time. It is the planet of karma. It's known as the karmic lord. And this is where we find a lot of our ambition, a lot of our kind of this is kind of a more serious energy with Saturn, about rules and boundaries and restrictions. And moving through Pisces is an interesting place for a planet like Saturn. Saturn likes to be able to see the fine edges and know the details and kind of have things worked out very realistically as far as moving through and moving forward and planning things is a very rational type of energy. But Pisces is the dissolvement of everything. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac and is kind of a culmination of all the energies of the whole zodiac loaded into one. Pisces is a very intuitive energy and is a very mystical type and is going to rely on the intuition and the messages that are coming through from source for answers. And Saturn goes to facts and well thought out plans and ideas instead. So you can see where these energies have kind of been conflicting for the last 2.5 years. And we are done with that. Saturn has moved into Aries, where it gets under the influence of Aries. And Aries is an initiator and is bold and confident. And Aries is the Mars ruled sign, so wants to take action. This is where we tend to kind of make a game out of everything in terms of the Aries really like kind of competitiveness, and they take to sports really well because of their ability to really be bold and initiate and get out there. And so Aries is now going to be what our responsibilities are all about. We're going to be sort of diving into new things. The first sign, Aries, is all about starting new things. And so here we are. We get fresh energy in Aries, of which is already loaded. Aries houses currently Neptune. Neptune is actually sitting very close to Saturn. They're both in the first 2 degrees of Aries right now, starting their new beginnings together. Neptune is the planet that rules Pisces, actually. It's our source connection. It's our intuition. Neptune is also our hopes and our dreams and our desires. And so with Saturn and Neptune being so close together, their energies are blending. That's how this works. They come together, their energies work together. And so Saturn, the responsible one, is meeting up with Neptune, the dreamer, and it's a great place to engage. We're trying to use the astrology and see what's going on on above so that we can see how to interact with and use these energies below here, as above, so below. So, taking these hopes and dreams and desires, these new dreams that we have for the future, and grinding on them a little bit, starting to pick through it. Pick through the details, start to figure out what are our boundaries, what are our restrictions here, what's going to be healthy for moving forward with these dreams, hopes, desires, these new things that are taking place. So this is really, really coming alive right now because these planets are so powerful and loaded with this new Aries energy. And it's interplaying with a couple other planets in Aries, Venus and Chiron. We'll talk about that a little later because they're actually conjuncting this week. They're coming together. Their energies are going to be blending. It's already taking place. Venus, Chiron, healing, true healing taking place for the heart there. And we have even more interplay with all the Gemini energy. So Aries, Gemini in a sextile with each other. And this is very easy flowing, very, very active. Fire and air signs are moving around a lot. It's the earth signs and the water signs that tend to get a little sticky sometimes. And the fire and the air have no problem moving around and remaining flexible. And so these two signs, Aries and Gemini, are coming in hot right now, and they're working together. Fire and air. Have you ever blown on the fire and seen what it does? It stokes it. Fire eats oxygen and creates more of itself out of it. And so these two energies are big, and there is an interplay going on right now, making it so that the fire and the air are working together. And Gemini is the hot ticket right now. We just yesterday came off of our Gemini new moon, and we're still in it. We're still in this new moon. The moon is still in Gemini, and Mercury sitting very close to the sun, Jupiter also in Gemini. So we have 4 planets in Aries. Chiron's actually an asteroid, but 4 planetary dignitaries in Aries. And then at the moment, before the moon moves into Cancer tomorrow, we have 4 planetary dignities in Gemini. So this is like sparking a fire, and the air is blowing it and making it spread, so careful with the fires right now, but also very, very healthy. Like if there are these new beginnings, taking place with Saturn, Neptune in the first degrees of Aries, and then also these new beginnings with Venus and Chiron conjuncting this week, we have all of this supportive air energy that is going to expand it and to make it more brilliant and help us to have some understanding around it a little bit more. See, Aries is a more instinctual sign, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so is more of that rational mindset behind it. So very, very hot right now because we have more fiery energy, and that air is working with that. So entering the week with this is really great energy, but also it can probably spread and get out to places pretty quickly and get a little out of control in a way. So let's just kind of break it down and talk about the week, because I kind of covered all the things that I wanted to for just kind of the main energy. But on May 27th, the day that I'm given this report, that Mercury is in such a strong place in the first degrees of Gemini. Mercury has just just moved into Gemini. Mercury is our mind. This is our communication. This is our transportation also. And when a planet is in their home sign, they become very potent and very powerful. Just like when you're at your house, you're most comfortable and you're at your best, or at least you should be. So Mercury at home in Gemini, creating lots and lots and lots of Gemini. Gemini is talking, okay, this week, particularly the last couple days, lots and lots of talking, lots of communicating, lots of little movements going here and going there. Very, very Gemini stuff. And on May 28th, we have the moon moving out of Gemini. So we get a little bit of sort of a internal energy with Cancer, where Gemini is very outward. The mood shifts with the moon. So on the Wednesday this week, we have the mood shifting into a more internal place, which could be really nice, but it could also sort of be in conflict with this really hot Mercury and this big Gemini energy. So kind of a challenging couple of days as the moon is moving through Cancer and then moves into Leo later in the week. And then we'll be trining all of those fiery placements in Aries and also be in a sextile again to Gemini. So that will again stimulate more of that fiery energy, bringing it in really, really hot. But backing up again just a little bit, on Thursday of this week, probably the biggest event that I can see in the astrology, other than the just kind of the general placement of everything and the heat that is taking place in the zodiac. But that is the conjunction of Mercury and the Sun. This is in Gemini, in Mercury's home sign, and the Sun being housed in Gemini currently also. So Mercury and the Sun coming together is lots and lots and lots of communication. Communication in the mind, communication in the mouth, messaging coming in from all over the place. It could even be quite overwhelming, all of the information that is coming in. See, Gemini is a sign of gathering data. So it's a blessing and a curse sometimes when we are receiving so much messaging. So what can we do to slow our minds down? Not necessarily with all the Gemini energy. Is it time to start crunching the data, right? We still want to be in a receptive mode. And I think the next few days, and even with the moon in Cancer, we have the opportunity to stay very, very receptive and open to all of the data, all the messaging, all of the communicating that's coming in, and try and avoid that overwhelmed feeling. And Cancer is the ruler of the moon. So the moon is very comfortable there. And the moon is our receptivity. And the moon in Cancer is like a mother with open arms. And how much more inviting is anything than that? Yeah, come on in. It's a receptive energy is what I'm saying. And so we're receiving a lot of data. There's so much new stuff coming in right now. We're just seeing Saturn move into Aries. I mean, it's like the wave. We're just like starting to, get the wave right now. We haven't even like hugged and said hello and asked how things are going. There is an adjustment period for when these planets move into signs, especially once it moves slow. See, Neptune takes, I believe, 7 to 9 years to move through a sign. So we'll be feeling more of this Neptune energy over the, next several years. Saturn will move through in 2.5 and we'll be, moving on. But the Aries point, the 0 degree Aries point is so important because it is the very start of the zodiac. This is where the seeds get planted. Very, very beginnings of the seeds being planted. Like the seeds are still inside, right? The package. Aries hasn't even opened the package yet, but it's an extremely potent place to have such powerful planets and have them together at this first degrees of Aries is just really beautiful. So, yes, Mercury and the Sun conjunct on Thursday. And this week we're feeling that. And that's where I'm going with this. Gemini coming in hot right now, hot and strong. It could be very, very busy. In fact, I know that it is. It's extremely busy. There is a lot going on, and it is a time where we must take care of ourselves so that we can continue to be this receptive individual, right? Taking care of our own systems, making sure that you are slowing down and resting when you need it, because it is tempting. It is tempting to just keep going, and keep going. It's kind of easier because more stuff gets done and you get to keep moving on. But at the same time, we are only human and we do need to stop and let our bodies and our minds rest. There is a lot of amazing things that can happen in our subconscious mind when we actually do let ourselves relax away from our problems or away from the, thing we're trying to figure out, or away from, the job or the family or the responsibilities or whatever it is, whatever it is that you're spending so much time, all these communications coming in about, make sure to take little breaks away from it, as it could just be a lot this week. So, moving on into the first days of June, we have another planetary conjunction. I mean, this is on the very first day of the calendar month, so very powerful way to jump into June, and that's the Venus-Chiron conjunction. And it's not super rare. It happens every year, but Venus is the heart and Chiron is the healer. And so we get a major heart healing this week. Venus wants things to be pleasurable and wants things to be beautiful. And so this healing is going to be that moment for us in the year where we turn toward ourselves and say, yeah, it's time. It's time for me to see this in a new light, or it's time for me to go in fully on whatever this healing is for you. Chiron is our immortal wounds, is what it represents. So I'm not talking about, a little cut on your arm or something healing. We're talking about the wounds that we carry with us in this lifetime. And if you are interested in seeing where Chiron was on the moment of your birth and getting some insight into some of these immortal wounds that you were born with, you can see that on your astrological birth chart. You look and see where the asteroid Chiron was the day you were born and the location where you were born. And that can bring in a lot of clarity on some of these areas when Chiron stuff comes up. So this week, Chiron stuff is coming up. What are your immortal wounds all about? What is it that we are carrying in this life and we would like to have some healing on it? It could be something that we're working with consciously, or there could be something that comes up very instinctually also. In fact, I think that could be the best way to feel into what this wounding and healing is all about this week, is to use the instincts. And the reason I say that is because this is happening in Aries. And Aries is the most instinctual of all signs. It uses the instincts better than any. So what does that mean, using your instincts? Well, to me, it sounds very tigress in the jungle, so that is how you approach that this week, or tiger in the jungle, whatever you prefer. And work with it and roar your way through it, because it is absolutely for the most benevolent outcome to work with these wounds and to work with these challenging places. This can be kind of tough. Chiron brings things up that aren't exactly comfortable, but Venus brings beauty, harmony, balance, and loveliness everywhere she goes. So I think that it will ultimately be a pleasurable healing, if you will. So that is the first day of June. And then, really just lunar aspects on the second day of June. This is probably a little more of a funky day. The moon is making an inconjunct and a square that day, and that's about everything that's happening. All the rest of the days are really nice conjunctions and the moon making lots of good aspects, sextiles, trines. Friday, May 30th, another kind of bumpy day, I guess. I kind of breezed over it, but that same Venus is going to be in conjunct, which is 5 signs apart, the South Node. And South Node aspects are just a little tough sometimes because it's about things that are leaving our life. We're finished with that. And Venus is going to be experiencing this week some things leaving and some things healing too. So, take care of yourself with all of this heat and all of this air and kind of things blowing around. Make sure to drink lots of water and use paperweights to keep things down so that things don't get blown all over the place as the windows are opened up this week. And I really appreciate you being here with me in the Cosmic Community Astrology, letting me chat all about it. This is Stacy Dredd, your galactic ambassador, and we will be back again very soon, next Tuesday. And I hope you have a really nice week, and I'll chat with you later. Take care. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.